Okay, balance. What is balance? Yin and yang. What is yin and yang? Good, bad, and complementary as such. The interconnectedness of such. So, what is good and bad? Good and bad is solely your perspective on things, not the perspective on things. Because you don't get to choose what is good and bad for everyone. Sorry to break it to you, but that's just the way it fucking is. So, it's purely based on perspective. Why? Why does it exist? Why is it necessary? If everything was bad, you wouldn't know what good was. Or, if everything was bad and there was any improvement, you would consider that to be good. If the whole world was bad, the sun never came up, and everybody's dying, everybody's cold, bad stuff. Nobody would argue that those are bad things, except for, I don't know, some creature that loves the nighttime, loves the cold. That creature would say this is great. Then the sun comes up, and we humans are like, yay, that's good. We appreciate that the sun's coming up, and it helps our life. Things grow. We're living. Whatever creature of the night that existed that loved when the sun wasn't coming up now considers the sun to be bad, while we consider it to be good. So what is good question? It is what it is. That is an important aspect of life, to accept what is, because the reality is the reality. Whether the sun's coming up or whether the sun's not coming up, that is what it is. You can put your perspective on it, voice your opinion, but it's not changing shit. Because it is what it is. So, in that circumstance, balance is important because if you've never experienced bad, you're going to start coming up, deciding that things are bad because you don't know anything else. How this applies to modern day world, I'm sure I could let people fill in the blanks, but I'm just going to do it. If you think that not referring to somebody by their chosen pronouns, especially if they're made up words, is an atrocious attack on humanity, I will suffice to say that you've not experienced any actual negative things in life. Because there are a lot worse things. Like cursing. If you don't like cursing, go live some fucking life. Because there are a lot worse things than words. And if you are that sensitive to words, you are a very, very fragile individual. And I personally do not hold fragility into a personal level, a significant level of personal development, because humans are meant to be tough. Think about it. It's only the last 50 years that there hasn't been a huge war, and we Americans have gotten to enjoy not having a war on our soil for years. I haven't. I and every one of you who's an American who has never experienced some people from another country showing up on your lap and taking your shit. You don't know what bad is. You haven't watched somebody get their head blown off and shit. You don't know. So there are a lot of people in the world who do know. And they are tougher for it. And they also are probably living a lot happier life because they can appreciate that they are alive. If you take for granted that you're alive, if you take for granted that you can walk outside every day without a danger over your head, if you take for granted that you have hot water, a house, car, fucking anything, a phone, watching this video. You can appreciate that. You need to go live more life, because these are all privileges that I'm enjoying, you're enjoying, and those who can't enjoy would appreciate. So, and they would probably appreciate a lot more than those who just inherently have this shit. Like, do I think children should be handed thousands of dollars of pieces of information that can provide a human more information than any human was able to have access to at all throughout human history whatsoever? No, I don't. I think it could make for a really now I'm just fucking ranting. I think it could make for a really smart person, but the internet is obviously influenced. It's a purchasable place. So you can provide influence that would tremendously affect the child. So, and I don't think having access to such extensive information is helpful really to everyone at all. Because personally, I don't think that the human mind is really up for it. I really don't. Because we haven't grown up with the ability to access it, and I think that people have replaced a lot of things with, I mean, you only have so much room. Our minds are computers and there's only so much storage space. So unless you're occupying your mind with super tangible skills and fucking important shit, history or whatever, it's probably being wasted. And wow, I've definitely ranted. Balance. Oh, no, I can tie this back in. Watch. So having a balance of using the computer, having access to information, but also choosing to experience life without these devices is an important skill for the modern human being. I myself have trouble with it because I don't like to use the computer. I really don't like sitting here looking at the digital screen and sitting here, typing away, and I don't feel as though I've produced anything. That's me. Some people are really productive on the computer and can produce good things. That's great. You do what's important to you, but I still think it's important for you to remain in touch with yourself as a person and as a human creature in this earth. Go outside and hug a fucking tree or something. Hang out. Listen. Don't just hear what they're telling you, hear what's on the thing, hear the birds, blah, blah, blah. Listen. Just listen. Don't decide whether or not it's good. Don't decide whether or not it's bad. Just absorb. Just listen. Be still. And I guess that's part of taking control of your mind. Because I think that the more time you spend on the computer, the more cluttered your mind is, and the more difficult it will be for you to be able to silence it. Because I truly believe that a lot of peace, inner peace, comes from specifically being able to still the mind. So having a balance between having a mind be still, let the waters of your mind as a pond settle, and just chill. And then zip around, being able to be productive on the computer, be able to be a business owner, be able to fix whatever the fuck it is, and be able to remain in a position that is balanced. Because one of too much of another will be detrimental. And there's a lot more to balance, but the goal is to strive to be balanced. Not everybody can be perfect. You gotta have a balance of good and bad. And if it makes you feel better, good and bad is based solely on the perspective of whom you are seeking it. If you don't give a shit about an opinion, you are not soliciting an opinion. You therefore are not receiving any information of whether or not it's good or bad. It's on you to know you to judge whether or not whatever you're doing is good or bad, and whether or not you can agree with it. So yeah, there you go. There's balance. We'll do another one.